My name is Titi Lola and I am a childcare provider with Get a Sitter. Get a Sitter is a platform that connects parents and guardians with professional and knowledgeable childcare providers like me. We also provide educational content like this. This topic is actually focused on, scientific inquiry through discovery and exploration with young children. This lesson will take about 45 minutes, but of course, it can take lesser time or you can take on the pace that the child can go. And the lesson objectives that we will be focusing on will be that the child should be able to, make simple predictions and be able to know what cause and effect is. Experiments are encouraged even in young children. So with this lesson, we're trying to make sure that children can participate in experiment, they can discuss, they can predict, and all things like that. And all these are what makes it a science-focused topic. Materials that would be needed for this lesson would be bowl or containers, plastic cups. We will need a Ziploc bag. We will need a coffee filter. We will need a strainer or basket. We will need a cardboard box. Anything around the house that we can get that we will think can or cannot hold water. And we'll be also reading a book. We need water, and then we will be dancing to a fun song about water. Go ahead and introduce the lesson to the child by saying we are going to be learning about water today. We are going to be learning about what can hold water and what cannot, and we are going to be trying different materials, different containers that we think can hold water, and we're going to be seeing which one can actually hold it and which one cannot. And that it's important for us to learn about water because we use water every day. Water is very important to us because it does a lot of good things for us. So it's actually very important that we learn about water. Going forward, the adults can read the book We Need Water.
From the shore, see the waves and hear them roar. Water flows from sky to sea, bringing life to you and me. Water helps us all to grow, every living thing we know. We save water from the drains and put out pans each time it rains.
Then, while reading the book to the child, the adult should just pay attention and let the child know, oh, so you see that we have all kinds of water. We see water from the sea, we see it from the ocean, water from the sky. You can see the animals drinking water. They use it to live, and then they use it to grow. So this book is just basically laying the foundation for where we can find water, what water does for us as living things and all of that. And then they can go ahead and dance to the song about water. Listening to this song and maybe dancing to it and having fun with it is actually very educational. That way it's okay for the adult to go in and let the child know. You see the tons of things that water does. We use water for cleaning, we use it in our homes, it flows into our homes. Water falls from the sky. Water is what you see in your pool, and all of the numerous things that water does for us and as human beings and living things. And the adult can begin the lesson by letting the child know that water is liquid, and that means that it does not have a particular shape or anything that it comes in. So like water will only form the shape of what a container that you put it in. So you see how this is, it doesn't have any shape, and if I just pour it in here, you see that this bowl looks like it's a circle. And so when I pour this water in this bowl, it's just gonna look like the water is circle, but really the water is not, because it does not have any shape. Because if I pour this water somewhere else, it's just gonna have the same shape of whatever I pour it. And you see, if I pour this water into a sink, you can see that there is no shape to water. And so today we will investigate to find which containers can hold water best. Forward with this lesson, the adult can lay out different materials that we will use for this experiment. Since this might be may be done at home or not. There are just a few household items that I grabbed. So this is a strainer. That's a plastic bag. It's a paper bag. This is a coffee filter. This is the plastic cup, and that's a Ziploc bag. And then you can go ahead and, ask the child, look at all these items. Which one do you think will hold water best? And then if the child says, oh, maybe a plastic cup over there is going to hold water best, you can go on ahead and ask, why do you think this will work best? Or why do you think this is a good container for water? And then the child might say, oh, maybe because, I've been using it, and, they probably know that I can hold water. And then if the child says, oh, I don't think this will be able to hold water, you ask them, so why do you think this cannot hold water? And then the child might be able to say, oh, maybe because it has holes in it. And then if the child gives you that kind of response, it's a way for you to support the child and let them know, oh, so do you think that any container that has holes in it would not be able to hold liquid like water? And on and on like that. You make predictions about all of this items and materials on the table about if they can hold water or not, and then you go ahead and explain. Letting the child make these predictions even before the experiment is being done is actually a very good way of improving the child's scientific skills. So that way they're able to think, inquire, discover, explore the environment. Predictions are actually the first steps in science experiments, so it's important to actually let the child participate in it. After the child has made most of the predictions that they can make about each material or container that is being laid out, the adult can then go ahead and group whatever the answers of the child is. So you can make the group and say what can hold water and what cannot, according to what the child predicted. And then you can go on ahead and experiment. So we can then go ahead and start with our experiment. So this is water, and then so this can hold water. There is no leak, there is no liquid falling out of the cup, so we can go ahead and record that. Oh, according to our experiment, what cups can hold water, plastic cups can hold water. And then we can go ahead and try the filter, and then hold it this way, and then the child can hold the other end of the filter, so that way you can see pouring the water through the filter and the water goes on the other side. So with our experiment, we see that this coffee filter cannot hold liquid. It cannot hold water. And say for instance, the child didn't even know that before. Now they know, because most, especially kids, might not know what a coffee filter is or see what it does. This way it's gonna help them learn that it's not something that can hold liquid or hold water. Also, we'll go ahead and try the Ziploc bag. Right here, I have a good old Ziploc bag here, and then put some water in it. Just a little, it doesn't have to be a lot. And then show it to the child. Do you see any leaks? Do you see the water flowing out? No. So I guess a Ziploc bag can actually hold water. Just a little. Nothing too much. You can see the leak coming from the bottom of the do all of these experiments with all the materials I laid out because of my time. But if you're doing this with a child, try as much as possible to exhaust whatever materials that you've laid out, and then you can see if your predictions were right. So this will be what your review would be, and then you go back ahead and remember you told me that you thought that cup could actually hold water. According to our experiment, do you think it can still hold water? And then if the child says yes, I think it can hold water, and then you can just review with the child containers that can hold water, materials that can hold water, and materials that cannot. And the support section that I added to the lesson plan and that will be discussing in this video is the adults can actually support the child by facilitating scientific discussion about the predictions. So remember when I said you can encourage your child to make predictions by asking questions. So by saying, oh, did you think the strainer can hold water or not? If the child says, oh, I think so, oh, I don't think so, why do you think it can hold water? Do you think there is a part of the strainer that looks like it cannot hold water? What do you see on the strainer that makes you think that it cannot hold water? So questions like that would facilitate discussions about your scientific experiment. Also, another thing that you can use to support the child for this lesson is to explain to the child what experiment means, what exploration means, what predictions means, and go ahead and say, oh, predictions just mean something that we will say first, even though we've not done something before. It's just like a guessing game, in a way that is developmentally appropriate for the child to understand. And moving on to the final assessment, what we will do is, use materials that have not been used before to assess the child. So you can even try cup with cracks. Before we said that plastic cups can actually hold water, but what if they have cracks in them? What if they have holes in them? Will they still be able to hold water? So taking a different approach and trying to see differently from what we've already tried to do is a good way of actually assessing. Even try to, if there's a way for you to maybe block your strainer with something, maybe put like a paste that can stay on there for a while there, and pour water into it and see how it holds, and then that way the child can see, so a strainer can actually also hold water if it probably has like a solid base or something that can cover the O's and them, because those are the features that do not make it hold water or liquid. So you can try every other thing in the house that you can find, and see how the child is able to make their predictions, and carry out the experiment later and see if the child is able to make the right predictions or the wrong predictions. Thank you for watching. Parents and guardians, you may download the Get a Sitter app to request for a childcare provider and for educational content like this. Available on Android and Apple devices. And you can go to www.getasitternow.com for the desktop version. Thank you.